Hey, my gems. So today I'm going to walk you guys through section 5.3. It's called Triangle Medians Investigation. And so the in-scholar students are going to be doing like a cut and paste activity. So obviously you guys at home, it's going to be a little bit different. So I'm going to walk you through how to do it using your computers and using a application called Geogebra. So the first thing, I'm going to share my screen here with you guys. When you go into the assignment, the 5.3 assignment, you're going to see a link, and the link is going to take you straight to this website called geogebra.com. And so Geogebra is a really great way that you can do in class, but virtually on a kind of plane here. So the first thing we're going to do for triangle medians and centroids, so we're essentially doing the same thing that the in-person people are doing, you're just doing it on the computer. So what they're going to do is they're going to end up cutting out a triangle and finding the midpoints and finding some of the segment lengths. So you're going to do that same thing using this first website. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to find a median. And so in order to find a median of a triangle, you need to find the midpoints of the sides of your triangle. So in GeoGebra, we're going to use a tool called the midpoint or center tool. And it looks like this. It's got 3 dots. So you're going to select it. It's underneath this point called the point tool, which is actually right here. I probably should have pressed refresh. I apologize. But you'll see a point tool here. And then you'll click on this button that says midpoint or center. Then you'll just end up clicking on the segment that you want to find the endpoint or the midpoint of. And so again, I apologize here, I'll refresh it. So you click on the point button, you click on midpoint, and then if you look down, it does say select 2 points, a segment, circle, or conic. So you're going to click here, then you're going to click where you want to find your midpoint. I want the midpoint of AB, so I'm just going to click on the line. It gives me the point automatically. So there is your midpoint of the segment. Now, as you scroll down, you're going to do everything here on this second triangle. And if you ever make a mistake and need to start over, you can push the refresh button right here. So if you move something around, you go, oh no, I didn't want to do that, press refresh, it'll take you back to the beginning. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do in this exercise is you're going to find something called the centroid of the circle. In order to do that, you're going to find the midpoint of all 3 sides like we did above. So we're going to click that button that we did above, right, this point tool, and we're going to find the midpoint of all 3 of these sections. So you can leave point A, B, and C right where they are, or if you want to make it a little bigger, which I kind of do just because I think it's going to be easier to see if I can make this a little bit bigger, right? Easier to see here for me. So I'm going to start by getting the midpoint of each one of these segments. So I'm going to click over here at the point, then I'm going to click midpoint, and I'm going to get the midpoint of all 3 segments. So point AB, there's the midpoint of BC, and ooh, I clicked right on it, and then the midpoint of AC. Okay, you can, I believe, there is a way, maybe there's not. To name a point, okay, never mind. So now you've got your points here. This is a midpoint, a midpoint, a midpoint.
Riders, if you were catching a bus today, you can now make your way down to the bus circle. Again, if you're catching a bus home today, now if that time to be headed to the bus circle, we will get you out of here very quickly. Thanks, everyone.
The
Have a great weekend.
The next thing we're going to do now, as I go back up to my rules here, it says connect the midpoints with the opposite vertices. So that means with the angle that is across from the midpoint. Do this by selecting the segment tool, which is found under the line menu. So you're going to select the vertex and then the midpoint that's on the opposite side. That's going to create what we call my medians. So I'm going to come over here to this line. I'm going to find the button that says segment, and I'm going to be connecting my median to the opposite vertex. So point A gets matched with the median across from it. Point B gets matched with the median across from it, the midpoint across from it, and point C gets matched with the midpoint across from it. So now from here, this is the same part that my in-person scholars are at. Now you're going to take a ruler and you're going to measure the lengths of all of these medians right here, okay? And actually, before we do that though, there is one point where all of my medians, all three of them, intersect, and it's the, I'm going to use the intersect tool, it's called the centroid. So all three of these lines intersect, boom, right here, so I'm going to make that intersection point. So I'm going to come over to, actually I should probably look at where it says it's at, the intersection tool. Where is that one? Intersection. There you go. It's underneath this point one here, and then I'm going to click the intersect tool. I'm going to make sure I get, boom, right in the center. There is my center. It's called the centroid. And now from here, I am going to get all of my distances, and I want to make sure that I write these distances down because you're going to do this same thing 2 different times. So to measure the lengths, I'm going to come over here to the angle button, and then I'm going to slide down to one that says distance or length. And in order to do this one, it says select 2 points, and that's going to give me my distance. So the first distance I'm going to find is from A to this center point. So I'm going to click A and then the center point, and there's my first distance. So they called this point G. They named it automatically for me. Then I'm going to go from this point G to the midpoint right across from it. So G and then the midpoint. There is my other length. And then you're going to pause and you're going to write down these 2 different numbers. And if you need to move, you can actually take this move tool here so that you can put it like right underneath so you can see it. And you can move the G if you need to move. Okay, no, I can't move the G. All right, so you're going to write down AG, and then you're going to write down GE. And hopefully you're noticing something about these 2 numbers. You're going to write those down either on the worksheet, or you can just be writing them down on your own. Now I'm going to find the next one. So I did the segment A, now I'm going to do segment B. I'm going to go back to my distance. I'm going to go from B to G, and then G to the other midpoint. Again, if you need to move them out of the way, you can, and then you're going to write them down. Last one you're going to do is the C, again, distance or length, from C to G, and from G to the end, to D. Okay, now I'm going to take my move, right, I'm just going to move them to the right spots. And so now you should be noticing something. So you've got all 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yep, all 6 of those should be written down. And then the question says, what do you notice about the relationship between the 2 sides of the median? So now I want you to kind of look at GE and AG, and I want you to write down what you notice between these 2 numbers. Same with GD and GC, this line right here, and then this one over here. Now right now it might be a little difficult to see like what's going on, which is why I want you to do this more than one time. So you can reset it and start over, or you can just take some of these points, move them around, and rewrite your new coordinates. So I want you to do it at least 2 times, maybe even 3 times, and I'm hoping that you'll see some kind of pattern. So you guys are going to work on this. If you need to replay the video, you can. And then we're going to come together once you're done, and we're going to see what kind of patterns we notice about the medians and what kind of relationships and ratios we see between the medians and this centroid, the piece right in the middle.
Would like to participate in the holiday picture.
Holiday feature, there we go. All right, so you can stop your video now if you need to replay it to walk you back through those same steps again, you can. But you're going to really work just on these 2. And again, if you need to, you can press refresh. It'll send you right back to where you started, and then you can kind of play around and fool around from there. Okay, so pause the video and go ahead and give those a try at least 2 times, but the more you can do, the better.